It is such a beautiful day today, and it really got me thinking that there are so many days when everything looks beautiful, it looks um, peaceful, but for some reason, even though I wake up with a feeling of peace, it's very, very difficult sometimes to carry that peace through the day. And it got me wondering, how do I fix that? How do I stay in that peaceful energy throughout the day? Because I genuinely feel that as the day goes on, thoughts enter my mind, and all of a sudden, even though I am sitting in my solitude, in my safe space, in my personal space, I sort of let the world into my mind, right? And that makes it so difficult to actually enjoy the peace of being with yourself and the peace of viewing the world from a kinder perspective, I guess. And I feel like this is something that so many of us do. Here on this channel, I often talk about the importance of solitude, the importance of self dialogue that only happens in silence, you know, having your own personal little space, time to just sit down with yourself and talk to yourself and introspect. And I realized that I talk about this stuff, sure, and I do practice it to a certain extent, but in reality, even though my surroundings are quiet, and this is what I think a lot of us do, our surroundings are nice, they're quiet, but our mind isn't. There is so much going on at any given point of time that it's literally chaos inside your mind. And how do we expect to find peace within when we allow this chaos to fester, when we in fact invite it into our own mind? And I think we live with this for so long because there is just this overload of information, right? Through our phones, through media, it's so many different ways. Even memories, I think, of things that we have been through, the way we've been treated, and this urge to prove to people that I I persevere, I overcome these things, and I move forward in life regardless of what was done to me. This urge to show the world that I'm okay, and in that process, we make ourselves not okay because we just don't let go. We just don't let go of the noise, of the chaos, of the memories, the new information overload. And so you're not really alone. There is the energy of several people in several situations that is sort of occupying your mental space at any point of time. And that's the reason I think there is this strange exhaustion that seems to come out of nowhere during the day. Because it's so natural. It comes so naturally to just allow these thoughts to roam around in your mind, take up space, um, turn into something different, and make a whole story out of it. There are always like several things going on at any point of time. And even though maybe once in a way we might be able to silence it, it's not intentional, I think. Even if it is, you sit down to meditate or something, and that's something that's always been like really difficult for me, meditation, because I cannot get my mind to shut up. It just won't shut up. And so for me, I think the concept of meditation is just like walking around, sort of taking in everything that is around me and not allowing my mind to escape out of that zone. Because once it does, I don't know where it's going to land up. I don't know what's going to happen and where I'm going to land up with my thoughts. And then I'm going to exhaust myself. Another thing is that this urge to see a better world. And I think The mistake that we make a lot of times is that we think the only way to change it, the only way to make it better is to actively do something to make it better, which is, of course, one way. But there's no point in throwing yourself into this emotional exhaustion by constantly thinking about how bad the world is, how bad things are in this world. It takes over you. At the end of the day, we're all emotional beings. So many of us are just empaths. You cannot ignore the fact that bad things are going on in this world. People are going through so much, they are suffering. Especially if you yourself have been through a lot. You just want it to stop. And those thoughts, that resentment, it sort of lives with you in your life, in your mind. And in a way, that's the energy that you're giving back to the world. The energy that you took from it, of resentment, of anger, of feeling that things are not fair. That's what you're giving back to the world. And I think that the best thing that we can give back to the world is our energy, our peace. Before we even take any action, before we even get out there and try to change things, our energy speaks before us. Our energy speaks before we enter the room. Our energy speaks even though we don't meet someone in person, but people feel energy. And if there's more of us that are willing to silence this chaos and this mess that's going on in our mind and just understand that it's okay to not be able to do anything all the time about things, about even our own life, about maybe, sorry, something that's going on outside. What's so important is just breathing sometimes, allowing this sort of vacancy in your energy, in your mind space, so that it can be filled with better energy, cleaner energy, not energy that is ridden with anger and resentment. And I feel the best way to do it is to just breathe. Maybe go out in nature, maybe just sit down in a quiet room and just sort of um, like be present with everything in that room, the walls, the furniture, everything is alive. I feel it's always vibrating with this certain energy that you give it. And maybe just try to feel a clean sort of energy. Allow the energy that you're vibrating with, the energy that is flowing through you, allow it to be free of negativity. Even though you're not feeling that good, just visualize sort of energy flowing into you that is pushing all of that out, that's going away. And the best you can do is first for yourself, for your own vessel, and then for the things around you. Acknowledge them as alive, acknowledge them as things that support you in your daily life. And sort of there's this gratitude that comes about with doing that, and you realize that in our own specific worldview, in our own specific perception, we can actually change a lot by just changing our energy. By, every time you come across someone, maybe even on social media, like I'm talking to you guys right now, and maybe, outside you come across someone, always, I always hope and pray that when people meet me, they feel a little better. No matter what is going on in their life, I don't know that. But it's just the energy that I'm giving out, and it just makes them feel a little better. I don't know why, they don't know why, but it's just what I want to contribute to the world. And then once they felt that energy, they can sort of build on it and then start their own personal journey to peace. And I think that that's such a beautiful thing, because I can't help but think about the fact that how many people may have done this for me. Like, how have I arrived at a point through all the chaos, through all the noise, through all the trouble that I went through? At some point in my life, maybe somebody did the same for me. Maybe they also, uh, their intention was also to just give out some positivity. You don't even have to interact, it's just the energy you carry with you. And somebody came with that intention. I don't even know who they are. And they began to change my life just like that. Just like that, out of nowhere, you feel better because maybe somebody put that intention out there that no matter, like, anybody around me would just feel better by being around me, and they don't have to even know or anything. But I hope it starts this sort of domino effect for them where things just start to get better and better. And so I wake up with this intention every day that you don't even have to be around me. Like, I don't know, I just put it out into the world that everybody's having a good day today. Everybody gets something little to smile about. And you know what the hell just happened? Ah, so yeah, that's what I do, and I feel like it's helping me so much. Even, knowing that I am contributing this way. And then when it is possible, when the situation arises, yes, I will be able to change things, speak up, you know, because I don't come from a place of resentment. I don't come from a place of anger. And I would never want for my energy to connect to things like that. It is all about the frequency that you put out, right? And then you attract more of that. And so I don't want to put out this frequency of resentment and anger and then just attract more of that for myself and the people that I love through me. I don't want to do that. I just want to put out peace. And for a long time I felt like, what sense does that make? Right? Is that even a contribution? Um, but then I thought, yes, everything is a contribution. Even it, maybe to some, it might feel like you're not doing much, but this is actually the biggest thing that you can do. You don't even know what anybody is going through, but if you can still put out the intention of being kind and sending some sort of positive energy their way, you can't stop and, like, you can't help but think somebody may have done it for us, and that's the reason we suddenly have a good day all out of nowhere. Maybe somebody just prayed that anybody who's going through something should feel better today, and then we did. And so I want to give that back to the world. It's just a thought that I had. If you watched my videos, you realize I've been talking about problems for so long, societal problems, um, basically braving the world as an introvert. And it's just, we know the problem. We've harped about the problem, we know it. I think instead of focusing on the problem, we focus on the silence. We focus on the peace that also exists with all this. And it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be a little weird, seem a little whacked out to some people. And that's what makes the world colorful, I think. Everybody with just pure intentions, focusing on that, attracting more of that into our life, giving back also the same energy to the world. I think that's the best thing that one can do. Decide what energy will inhabit my physical vessel, my body. And I don't know whether when when we see the problems in the world, when we see the difficulties, I can't help but think that, is it something I manifested in my reality to see all of this and be angry about it and go and shout about it and change it? Maybe it is. Maybe I did. I come from a lot of chaos, and so peace is very new to me. And I don't think I have to shout and scream and connect myself to that negativity again to change it. It can just change energetically, one step at a time, one person at a time, one life at a time. And I think that's beautiful. And I think a lot of us are at this phase in our life, where it's been struggle, 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 and then you reach a point where you fight, and you're tired, you give up, you start again, you give up, and then you reach this point of like clear, calm waters, and you're like, oh, I didn't have to fight, and I've overcome all of that. I've done a good job. It's safe now to rest, but you don't know how to do it. Then that's a whole other journey. But then you figure it out, and it becomes nice, it becomes easy, it becomes peaceful. And yeah, I think that's what's important, right? Finding peace, calming the mind, being intentional with what sort of energy you embody. Sometimes it's so real, no? Because we've been through so much. We don't want to let go of that. We feel like, no, I need to sort of see somebody go through something because they put me through something. I need to prove something to somebody else, or I need to, I'm just angry at the state of the world, and that's what you're giving back to the world. And in a way, that's the energy you embody. That's what's going back into the world through you as well. So sort of just sitting in silence, breathing. You don't have to have your mind empty completely. It's just a little bit more silent to make more space for a more cleaner, a more kind energy. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, I guess. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a nice day and a nice peaceful day where you're breathing deeper, you're feeling like the universe is giving you a nice hug, and I'm sending you that from me. And yeah, may today be the beginning of many, many moments of peace, of quiet, of love, and an easier, more comfortable, more blissful life. Okay, bye.